Raid Shadow Legends. I am back. I beat the Undead 14 Faction War boss, the Crypt boss. Wasn't an easy fight. He kind of wigged out a little bit. I think that's why I won. I needed a 5th heavy DPS to be able to win it legitimately. But you'll be able to see that video if you haven't seen it already, whether I put it in the beginning of this or later in the end of this. But let's go over Undead first. So Undead for Faction Wars has really good legendaries. We have good legendary. Bad L is going to, of course, carry a team, as you see with my team. Blood Gorged, probably the only legendary that's not super fantastic, but he does do a 60% decreased defense on skill 1, just like Dark Aethel will, so you'll want to bring Dark Aethel in for this. This guy, I thought this guy got buffed or was going to get buffed, but not a legendary I would bring in. Netheril is good anywhere. This guy is a legend, so you'll use him regardless. So good. So let's get into the epics. A lot of people aren't going to have these legendaries. I only am able to do 14 because I have this legendary right here, Bad El Khazar, and he is carrying me the whole entire way. No doubt about it. Without him, I have to have some serious gear and really work on my team comp to be able to do 14. Seriously. And then even then, you'll see on 14, it wasn't the boss wasn't doing transfer HP for some reason. I've seen it resisted when they've tried to do that before. I was just hoping for a resist, and then I could take him down. Again, I need a really high attack champion, DPS champion. Doesn't have to be attack. Really high DPS champion in there to be able to take the boss down as my 5th. So here we go. Epics. They have a lot of good epics in Undead. Gorgorab, he's there for you to heal, to resurrect all your guys and give them a heal. Fantastic guy to come in there with support. If you have a few die, he can bring them back, make them super tanky, make them fast if you can, and that's it. Let him go. He'll also be able to take away buffs. There's a lot of guys that I faced in there that had buffs come up. He was good at taking away the buffs. So we have Seeker. Seeker's another one that's good to have in there as well. Of course, you face Seeker in Arena. If he gets crit, he can do the 60% increased defense, turn meter increase along with attack, and then provoke. Provoke is deadly. It is very good. Dark Aethel. She's actually really good in here because she can do the decreased defense 60% on her main and then AoE slow speed, which helps out a tremendous amount. Really wish this was a 3-turn cooldown. She's a legendary. Her counterpart that's a rare has it on a 3-turn cooldown, can even get it lower than 3 turns because her skill 3 lowers gives her an extra turn when she buffs herself. So I really wish this was on a 3-turn cooldown. She would really shine then. Because other than this place, I did a whole review on her, level 60 gameplay, awesome gear on her. I put her in everything in the game. She's just not good. She's not a good champion. So we have Husk. Husk would be a really good one to put in here for Undead. I need to do him up. He does a provoke. He does damage based on enemy max HP and has a chance to stun, and then he does damage according to this champion's current HP. So everything he does is amazing. 3-turn cooldown for this one. 4-turn cooldown for this, which is going to hit hard and have a chance to stun somebody. This will probably be the next guy, Husk, this will probably be my DPSer that I'm going to bring in to beat the boss with. I'm just going to go really high crit damage, take advantage of this skill, and then, of course, anything else he hits with based off of HP, you know, you're going to have an HP chest with him, HP percentage, and then I'm going to have crit damage gloves, crit damage neck, and I'll have, you know, whatever else I need to do for him to get the critical chance, of course. And whatever gear I put on him is fine. I can put, you know, we can put any kind of offensive gear we want on him. That'll work out completely fine because you know he's going to do some work. But you do, of course, want to give him a little bit of HP. He's going to be taunting on his skill 1. But for sure, I'm going to do Husk, and I'm going to have to do a review on him at level 60 and then take him in here and get some work done with him. Karam, a lot of people have asked me to do guides on this guy, for sure. I want to, but he's just not really number 1 on the list right now to do that kind of stuff. But he could be interesting with his deal damage based on all poisons, just like we have with Zavia, and we have with the other legendary high elf girl. I can't remember her name, the one that does poisons, burn that cannot be resisted if you have her ascended, that kind of stuff. So he could be good. I'd like to try him out. I'd like to see what he could do. Again, another one you can use in here. Lich. Lich is going to be really, really good for Faction Wars because he can self-sustain, he can stay up, he's defense-based, does damage based off of defense. His 3rd skill hits really hard, damage based off of defense, and depletes the turn meter. If I had this guy, you can deplete the turn meter of these bosses. If I had this guy in here on stage 14, it was depleting the turn meter and slowing the speed down, because every time I slowed the speed with Dark Aethel, it was amazing. The boss went super slow. If I had him in here on a 3-turn cooldown, it'd be game over. So this will be another Lich that I'm going to have to, even at 50, I'll probably do him soon, like really soon, in the next couple days. I'll probably do him before Husk, now that I'm talking about it, just to get this, deplete the turn meter on a 3-turn cooldown. Of course, I need books though, and like I said, he's self-sustained. He'll heal himself, he'll defense himself. He's got really high defense, he's got really high HP. We don't have to worry about this attack being low. He doesn't do any damage based off of that attack. It's all off of decent defense. We're good to go. Also, look at this crypt. Increased defense in crypts by 27%. You can't beat that. This girl, I don't know if I'd really go out and try to gear her out for faction wars. I wouldn't. Heals this champion by 50%, whatever. She's really high attack, lowish HP, lowish defense for sure. 3-turn cooldown to attack one enemy, and no AoE. So I just wouldn't focus on her. Corpse Collector looked decent. It's got a leech, so we could heal off of that damage. 10% of the damage that any of us do to somebody with leech on it, we get that back in life. Attacks all enemies on a 3-turn cooldown. If you can skill it out, that's good. Regardless of what it does, it still does it on a 3-turn cooldown. That's great. Has a couple things: heal reduction, accuracy. That's not bad at all. And then attacks 3 enemies and has a chance to do poisons. And then places Veil buff on the champion for 1 turn. She's okay. I would go for some of these other ones if you had them. Definitely Zelotah. He's great. This skill right here is amazing. Shields, heals, and then he can put people to sleep. I mean, you can't beat that, right? You can't beat that at all. Has amazing HP and defense and can really do work. You just make this, he heals everybody based off of this champion's max HP. So you just load him up with HP, you load him up with speed, and he's going to heal everybody 20% of his exact max HP. And if you have him skilled out, it's going to be 20% more of this, so it's going to be 24% of his max HP. It's a huge amount for all your guys. 24% of somebody that you're going to boost up their HP off this, off the roof, then it's good to go. So use him if you have him and you need heals. You're going to need heals, so use him. So they do. Undead has really good epics. There's so many epics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 epics that are fantastic in Undead. So I'm hoping you have some of them and you can use them. Let's go into rares. This is already going to be kind of long. Banshee, an oldie but goodie, has been around forever. We can get her story mode. She does the AoE on the skill 1, has a chance to decrease defense. Put her in there, give her some, if you have heals, give her some stun runes, give her some provoke runes. As long as you keep her alive, she has good HP, good defense as well for a rare. So just AoE on her skill 1, decrease the defense on them, and then bring them in with that provoke or the stun. Attacks all enemies again, removes 1 buff. I mean, attacks 2 enemies. She's really good. Banshee is a good rare to have for faction wars. Temptress, when Temptress is with Seducer, she's decent, but I don't know if I'd want to really bring her in here, only because it makes Seducer so good, but I think I'd leave Temptress out. Sorceress has the chance to do the 60% decreased defense, but if you played for 90 days, go with the Dark Aethel. Even though you're not going to use her, and you're not going to use Sorceress for anything else as well, I would go with the Dark Aethel for the decreased defense on the skill 1, and then also she has the AoE slow. But you have Sorceress is another. Grinner has a resurrection, right? He can revive a dead ally, put an HP shield on him, and he has an AoE that has a chance to remove a buff on a 3-turn cooldown, and also increases attack of all the champions. This is a rare guy that I wanted. I have him at 50 actually. I want to take him to 60 one day, and I want to take him into something like dragons, even though I did an all rare run of dragons already. He's a good champion. I mean, he's got all around really cool stuff. To be able to increase your allies' attack by 50%, right, on a skill 1, everybody, then he has a 3-turn AoE that has a 20, 30, 50% chance to remove 1 random buff, and then he can revive somebody. I mean, this guy can do it all, right? He's not bad at all. Increased resist in crypts, which resistance is always good in crypts because the bosses are insane, and they always bring some people in there. Who is this? Wretch? I wouldn't bring Wretch. He just has the burn. He's like a beginner guy for clan boss that you still shouldn't probably use. And then Bone Knight. Bone Knight's okay. Bone Knight's got the weaken. He's got the heal reduction, but he does have an AoE. So he's got a 3-turn AoE, and it gives you buff of increased crit on all your guys for 2 turns. So a 3-turn AoE and then a weaken if you need it. If you need somebody to do a little bit of damage. He really has low stats though as far as HP goes. He actually has good defense, and his attack is a little bit low. So only if you wanted to, if you wanted somebody to come in there for attackers. But Undead has a lot of good people. So we have this baby lich, right? Rotting mage that we got a while ago. So he can do a freeze on his main, 25% chance. Increase the attack of everybody, places the increased defense on everybody as well. And then, but he doesn't heal himself. He's not anywhere near as good as Lich, and his damage is based off of attack. And then he can stun somebody every how many turns? 4 turns. I wouldn't go with him as well. I just wouldn't. There's got to be better people. I wouldn't go with this girl after looking at her skills. She's just not somebody I would use. Doom Screech is actually pretty good. If you need somebody a little bit more support to get you through as a rare, to get you through some of Faction Wars, this guy can do decreased accuracy, attacks 2 times, based off of HP and attack. So you're going to really load him up with HP because this one goes off of HP. It attacks all enemies, but it's on a 5-turn cooldown. It's really long. It gives him a shield, but here's what he's got. So 3-turn cooldown, he can increase your turn meter by a crazy amount, 30%, and place a 60% increased shield on your guys. So that's pretty good shields. That's not bad at all. Also has another Faction Crypt aura for you to use. I think that, oh no, we have more. We have more. Okay, so Hollow. This guy isn't used for anything. He's no good. Seducer, here we go. So if you needed somebody, my level 60 Seducer guides, check them out. Check out the level 60 Seducer, all rare run dragons, Seducer and everything. My Seducer goes everywhere with me. He's just the seduction man. He doesn't go everywhere with me, but he is very good, and I'm using him right now. I'm using him, of course, and anything I do in Faction Wars all the way up to 21, I'm using Seducer. I'll never pull him out. He is my main dude in there, so don't worry about it. You will see Seducer no matter what. Fantastic champion. He can sleep. He's been sleeping. You'll see him sleep people in there. Good percentage, 45% chance. AoE, I've got him in provoke gear, so he's provoking. He's also got a chance to decrease their attack by 25%. That's fine. That's enough. And then he gives me shields and block buffs, block debuffs on my team, so I can't get frozen, so I can't get slept or stunned or decreased defense, all that kind of stuff. Really, really handy. Now, if you have Temptress on there, he will do the ally protect, which is very strong, and block damage on himself, but Temptress more than likely will be dead, and that's all you'll get out of her. So unless you can make her really tanky. This guy just came out a little while ago. He's got really low HP, but I mean, he depletes the turn meter on a 4-turn cooldown, and that's really all he's got going for him. Everything else, I wouldn't use him. There are plenty of better things to use, and I would love to use this guy. He looks really cool with the purple, the skull coming out of his head, but everything is single target attack. Block skills, single target, all damage based off of defense. He's got good HP, got good defense to go off of this. All he needed was just give me this 3-turn AoE, and I'd use him. I'd use him, hands down. I'd use him like I use Seducer. This guy would go with me everywhere. But unfortunately, he doesn't have an AoE. He needs to have that AoE for me to want to be able to use him. He really does. Who else do we have? And that's it. Now we're going into the uncommons. So that is it for Undead. This might have been a little long. So you have tons of good, 1, 2, 3, 4 really good legendaries you could use. You have, what was it, 6 or so. And you have good support in here. You have good heals in here. But don't bring too many supports in here. Don't try to bring Gorgorab and bring Seeker and bring, what's this guy's name, Zelotah, all in there, and then not have any DPS. If you bring those 3 and you have some crazy DPS, that's fine. Remember, you want to get that decrease. You want to get that decreased defense, so you could bring her in there. And you definitely, if you have Lich, I'm telling you, Lich is going to be a lifesaver. If you can skill him out and do this 3-turn cooldown, deplete turn meter, it hits really hard as well, and puts a slow speed on them. You're going to pretty much be able to deplete the boss very often, very, very often. So use that, and you'll be able to win. You will be able to win probably because of Lich alone. As long as you have the supporting cast, as long as you haven't lost everybody on the way there, this guy is going to make it so we can beat bosses. He really, really will. As far as the rares that we talked about, there's a decent amount of rares as well. Not a crazy amount of rares, but we do have some options in here. But that's all I got. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on Undead for Faction Wars, what you're running, what you've got to so far. And I'm about to show you my runs on Faction Wars, so we'll jump over to that. I'll see you there.